So very luckily, I managed to get an extra game in. Um, it was John Armitage's A Bridge Too Far. It probably doesn't take a genius to work out what campaign it's referring to. Um, and it's basically dealing with Operation Market in Market Garden in 10 minutes. That's pretty impressive. And what John looked at was the logistics side of it and supply, because obviously that was a major factor during Market Garden. So you're playing 30 core and you start with a hand of 5 cards, and ahead of you there are all the road sections laid out, and each one gets a German card put on it. And as you approach it, you turn it over to see what the card is, and you have to play a card that is higher in value. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Now, this is where the clever part of the game comes in. Once you've used a card, it's discarded, and aces can be either high or low, which is quite a useful feature. You decide, regardless of whether they're German or yours. Now, those 5 cards aren't going to last long, so you've got 2 extra options. You can reorganize, in which case you discard any cards that you don't want, and you can resupply, where you bring your hand back up to 5. Now those are separate options. That's significant. Now if you've got very low cards and there's a high German card in front of you, it's probably time to do a quick reorganization before you resupply. But you've only got a limited number of turns to get to Arnhem. Now, some spaces have extra rules. For example, when you get to Son, the bridge is blown and you have to discard a card. Okay, that kind of makes sense because it basically deals with the delay. And you get other cards. For example, there can be a counter-attack at Weigel, which means you have to then play a card higher than it to beat it. For once, having played the game before at Partisan and lost dismally, I actually won, and I did it in the minimum number of turns. That's unique for me to do that well in a game. So if you do see John's game around, he frequently hosts it at events like Partisan, I really would recommend a go for how to play a very complex operation in 10 minutes, focusing particularly on the logistics side.